we're not seeing that. And it's these simple little things that we're not seeing. I'm sure by now you've seen the fake phone call by Rob Whitman. And it's that lack of honesty, that lack of being accountable.
We're here today with Ericka Kopp, who is a candidate for the congressional district that is currently held by Rob Whitman. That's Congressional District 1. Um, and she is an interesting person. She is an attorney. She is a caregiver for her husband, who is disabled from his military service. Why don't you pick it up from there and you can fill us in a little bit, Ericka?
Absolutely happy to. And thank you again for having me on. I grew up in this district. I was raised by the people of this district ever since I was about 3 years old. My family has lived in various parts of Henrico County, and this was where my husband and I wanted to put down roots when it came time for us to buy a house. I am a product of Henrico County Public Schools, and specifically Tucker High School, the Center for Foreign Language Immersion, which I believe now has a different name, but it was something along those lines when I went there. And after that, I continued my education at Virginia Commonwealth University, stayed local, stayed at home. I majored in forensic science. So I worked in that field for a couple of years. And after about 5 years out of undergrad, I decided that I would go to law school. And I went to law school at the University of Richmond. I went with the idea that I would become a public defender. It was something that was very near and dear to my heart. I worked for a court appointed criminal defense attorney before and during law school, and he worked mostly at the appellate level. And when I ended up getting out of law school, I had an opportunity to clerk for a judge in Chesterfield County, another
Mm.
place that's very near and dear to my heart. And following my clerkship, I sort of fell into practicing healthcare law. I started out at a firm that was based in Roanoke that had a satellite office in Innsbruck in Glen Allen. And that did not end up being the right fit for me. So I ended up going to a different firm, exclusively healthcare, and any kind of thing that either touches or concerns the license of a healthcare provider or a healthcare system, in whatever type of capacity that may be. So, medical malpractice defense, or even defending slip and falls inside of the coffee shop of the hospital. My firm handles that. Or, um, you know, auto accidents that involve medical transport from a long-term care facility. Our firm might handle that as well. And so I enjoy it. And I never really thought about going into political office, running for political office. It was never something that I wanted. It was never something that was attractive to me. But then I started to see, in particular, over the last year and a half, that our representative, Rob Whitman, really wasn't doing anything to slow or stop the chaos that we were seeing coming out of DC. And in fact, a lot of times he was rolling over and allowing billionaires and a rogue president to walk all over him. I was so upset. And the more that I thought, the more that I spoke out, the more that I realized that anyone could do a better job of being a congressperson than Rob Whitman, anyone, even me. And then I thought, well, why not me? So I sat on the decision for about 3 months. And then came his vote on the big, I'm not going to call it by its actual name, bill.
Right.
You know the one I'm talking
The
about.
big, horrible bill.
That one, that one. And that was the final straw for me. So in July, after that bill was signed into law, a couple of weeks later, I filed my paperwork to run in the Democratic primary for the first district. And here we are, almost a
Yeah.
year later.
Yeah. And a lot of people have found their calling in this atmosphere that we have now.
Yeah.
Um, and particularly, it seems that the first congressional district has attracted a lot of candidates and some who have even dropped out. Like before, when I had mentioned to you, Sean Sublet,
Mhm.
he had dropped out because it just became untenable, really. And Amanda Pohl.
Yep.
So, uh, tell me more about when you thought about running for office, uh, what you thought the most important thing that you could do would be.
The most important thing that I thought I could do was really very simple. It was to uphold the oath that I've already taken to the Constitution and to lead with integrity and honesty. We're not seeing that. And it's these simple little things that we're not seeing. I'm sure by now you've seen the fake phone call by Rob Whitman. And it's that lack of honesty, that lack of being accountable to the people, which that's part of the entire job, is in part when you're representing the people, you got to hold yourself accountable to them.
Uh,
And if not, then it's the job of the people to vote you out of office.
yeah,
And so it's seeing that at the most basic level that we're not getting the representation that we should have out of somebody who has the title of representative.
yeah. I make memes once in a while, and I made one about Rob and his famous phone call the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Um, it was pretty amazing. I mean, I even looked it up. I think the only other time well known that that had happened was with Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who did the same thing back in 2017, I believe. But then it was pointed out that Rob Whitman had done the same thing only a week earlier.
Exactly. Yes. So if there are two instances, I am sure that there are more. And those are the only two that have been published after being recorded. How many times has that happened that it wasn't recorded?